students, welcome to our new lecture, that is steady flow energy equation. We will be studying steady flow energy equation in this lecture. This concept you need to understand, and this comes for derivation, and we will derive one equation which we will be required to solve some numericals further. Okay, so let's start with today's concept, that is steady flow energy equation. Here what I have drawn is one system, right? One system I have drawn where there are 2 points. One is my inlet point, and another this point 2 here is my second exit point, right? One is inlet, one is exit. So in the system I am considering pressure, velocity, internal energy, enthalpy all entering into the system. As these are entering at point 1, so I have noted here P1, V1, U1, H1 and Vs1. What are these? Let's see. P1 is the pressure at inlet. Okay. V1 velocity at inlet. U1 we have seen it is the internal energy at inlet, right? All these, one denotes the nomenclature for the inlet part, right? H1 that is enthalpy at inlet, and Vs1 that is the specific volume at inlet, right? Next, similarly we can write for P2, V2, U2, H2 and Vs2. We write P2 equals to pressure at exit, V2 velocity at exit, U2 internal energy at exit, H2 enthalpy at exit, and Vs2 that is specific volume at exit. Okay. Now there are 2 concepts we have learned in the first law, the transfer of heat and work, right? So what I will write here, dq by T is my heat transfer rate, or rate of heat transfer, and dw by T is my work transfer rate, right? Here Z1 and Z2 are the height from the datum, means consider this is the ground level. So my inlet point is at Z1 distance, means at some height, that is Z1, and my exit point that is at Z2. So Z1 is the height at inlet, right? And my Z2 is the height at outlet. Okay? Height from datum to inlet, and Z2 height from datum to outlet. Clear with this? What are the nomenclatures we are given here? Next, to study this, there are some assumptions. There are 5 assumptions total. First, that is the mass flow rate throughout the system is constant, means the mass flowing from point 1 to point 2 in this whole system, the mass flow is constant. Second, rate of heat transfer is constant, means the heat transfer from point 1 entering into the system and leaving the system, it is constant. Similarly, the work done, the work transfer rate, we have seen dw by T, that is also constant throughout this whole system. Fourth, the state of working substance. The state of working substance means the pressure at point 1, and the volume at point 2, velocity and the volume at point 1 would be equal, means the state at all the points at any point is constant, it is not varying, right? And fifth point is that there is no chemical change. So means if water is entering, H2O is entering in the system, H2O is leaving the system, so there is no change in chemical composition, right? These are the 5 assumptions we need to know. Now let's derive the steady flow energy equation. We all know that, see, the energy entering into the system plus flow work plus flow work plus the heat transfer rate is equal to the energy flowing outside the system plus flow work plus the rate of work done. Okay, what I have told you, mass into energy entering the system, okay, entering system plus mass into flow work at entry plus heat transfer rate that is dq by dt is equivalent to mass of energy at exit plus flow work at exit plus work transfer rate. Right? Now, if you, what is this energy entering into the system? Energy entering into the system is nothing but the energies we have studied yesterday in the previous lecture, right? In the previous lecture, that was potential energy plus kinetic energy, right? Potential energy plus kinetic energy plus the internal energy, right? Internal energy. This is my energy entering into the system, right? Next, the flow work we have defined as in the previous lecture. What is flow work? Flow work we have defined, the flow energy was pressure into the specific volume. So we write here P1 because this is the entry. So I write here P1 and Vs1 because this the flow work at entry point, right? Plus dq by t equals to m. Energy at exit would be kinetic energy plus potential energy plus internal energy, right? Plus what is the flow work? Here it would be P2 Vs2 plus Tw by T, right? The formulas we have seen for potential energy and kinetic energy. The potential energy was mgh, right? But as already I am taking m outside, so there is no need to write here m again. Similarly for kinetic energy, the formula was half mv square. Mass is already outside, so I remove here m. It would be just half v square. And as it was for first, so I am writing here 1. And here you can see what is h. What is h? The height at point 1, that is z1. So I am writing here gz1. Okay, not writing h, I am writing z1 plus half v1 square plus internal energy. What was internal energy? It was denoted by u, right? And it is for first section at inlet, so I am writing here u1. And just I am writing the next bracket, flow work, that is mass into P1 into Vs1 plus del Q by T. I am writing this as it is. And for next right hand side, the same, mass is outside. Here my potential energy will be G mgh, but what is my h here? It would be Z2 now. So I am writing here G Z2 plus half V2 square, right? V2 square plus what is my internal energy? U2 at point 2 plus mass into the flow work, that is P2 into Vs2 plus dW by T. Clear with this? I am just expanding this. Now my mass is common here. Okay, so can I just expand this and write simply m, combining these two brackets? I am combining these two brackets, I am adding these two brackets. So what would my next step would be? See, I am writing this step as it is. G Z1 plus half V1 square plus U1 plus P1 Vs1, right? I have added these two brackets plus dq by t equals to m into, similarly I am doing this for the second, at exit point, and gz2 plus half v2 square plus u2 plus p2 vs2, right, plus dw by t. Clear? Next, we know that in the previous lecture we have seen h, that is enthalpy, that is given by U plus PVS, right? Can you see here U plus PVS, U plus PVS? Okay, so can I write U plus PVS as H? Okay, what I will be writing, H equals to U plus PVS. We know that, right? And consider the M, that is the mass, equals to 1 kg. Okay, consider mass M equals to 1 kg, and dq by T I am representing it as Q, and dW by T I will represent by W. Okay, right? These are my notations now, which I would be substituting in this equation. Okay, so mass is 1 kg, so there is no need to write mass again. So my equation becomes C, G Z1 plus half V1 square plus, instead of U1 P1 Vs1, what I will be writing, enthalpy H1, right? Plus here dq by T will become my Q equals to, what will my RHS would be, GZ2 plus half V2 square plus H2, that is enthalpy. Again, see U2 plus P2 Vs2, I am changing with enthalpy. Okay, plus dW by, what is my work, I am writing as W. Now this is my final equation which I have got. Now I need to rearrange these terms. Okay, see what I am doing. I am keeping this Q here as it is. I am bringing this W, means work done, to the left hand side. So my positive work would be negative now, equals to, I will be shifting this bracket whole to this side, right? And this bracket will be as it is. So what my bracket will be, I am writing this first bracket, second bracket as it is, GZ2 plus half V2 square plus H2, right? I have written this bracket as it is. Now this bracket, as it is in positive, it will go in negative, minus GZ1 plus half V1 square, right, plus H1. Okay, I'll just rearrange this. Now if I open this bracket and if I need to combine this, so what my equation would be, just see carefully what I am doing. This is my term half V2 square, this is my term half V1 square. If I open this bracket, this positive would turn into negative. So what would my next step would be, V2 square minus V1 square, right? V2 square minus V1 square, and half is there as it is, so I am dividing it by 2. Clear? Next, plus what I am writing here, GZ2 minus GZ1, right? G is common, so can I write here Z2 minus Z1 multiplied by G, right? Z2 minus Z1 multiplied by G, plus my H2 minus H1. Clear? Clear with this? How I got the simplified form? This is nothing but my steady flow energy equation for an open system. Okay, you need to derive this like this, and you need to remember this formula, that is Q minus W equals to V2 square minus V1 square upon 2 plus Z2 minus Z1 into G plus H2 minus H1. Clear? It is very simple to solve. Yes, you are expanding potential energy plus kinetic energy plus internal energy. I have written my formula and I have just expanded this, and just by rearranging the terms you get this formula. Okay? So hope you are clear with this topic, that is steady flow energy equation. In the next lecture we will be seeing how this is applied, this formula is applied to the applications such as nozzle, steam turbine, condenser, boiler, etc. Where we will see the application of steady flow energy equation to mechanical devices, that is nozzle, turbine, boiler, condenser and reciprocating compressor. In the previous video we had derived the steady flow energy equation, which was GZ1 plus half V1 square plus H1 plus Q equals to GZ2 plus half V2 square plus H2 plus W, that is work done. So let's find out the equations for each of these devices. Let's start with the first, that is nozzle. A nozzle is a device which is having a varying cross-sectional area which is used to get the high velocity jet at the exit point. See, the area at point 1 is bigger and it gradually goes on decreasing and then again increases. So the velocity at point 1 I have denoted by V1 and velocity at point 2 I have denoted by V2. The datum means from the ground level my nozzle is in a horizontal position, so the values of Z1 will be equal to Z2, so that will be cancelled. So from this above equation, let's find out the equation for this. Here the potential energy and kinetic energy is negligible. Okay, can you see any heat transfer or any work done in this device? There is no heat transfer nor any work is being done. Only the water is flowing from point 1 to point 2. So Q and W are 0 and my Z1 will be equal to Z2. So that it will be cancelled. Now that equation, steady flow energy equation, I will write as half V1 square plus H1 equals to, right, equals to half V2 square plus H2. Clear? Now by rearranging, what I can write is V1 square plus 2H1 equals to V2 square plus 2H2. Clear? I am multiplying these two. So what would be my next term? I will be shifting this H1 to the right hand side. So here it will become V1 square equals to V2 square plus 2 I am writing in bracket 2 H2 as it is. This positive H1 would be minus H1. Okay, as this is in square, V1 is in square, can I have a square root? So I will have V1 equals to square root of V2 square. I am shifting this square to the right hand side, so it will become square root V2 square plus 2 in bracket H2 minus H1, right? 2H2 minus H1. This is my formula for the nozzle, right? Clear? Clear with this formula of nozzle? Next, moving to turbine. Next device, that is turbine. What is turbine? The turbine is a work generating equipment. When we pass steam at one point of section, the velocity of steam, the energy of steam entering will be greater, which will impinge on the turbine rotates and thus my work is being generated, right? So let's find out what is the equation for this turbine. Here consider potential energy and kinetic energy again to be negligible, right? Next, here can you see any heat transfer? No, but work done is there, right? Work is being done. So can I write potential energy and kinetic energy are considering negligible, so these two terms get cancelled directly. These two terms won't be there, right? So what will be there is H1 plus Q will be there? No, because there is no heat transfer. So H1 equals to H2 plus W. So what will be my W will be H1 minus H2. I am taking this positive H2 to the left hand side. So my H1 minus H2 would be my W. W equals to H1 minus H2. Clear? Thus my enthalpy drop, see H1 minus H2, that is my enthalpy drop is converted into useful work. Okay? Clear with this second diagram? That is turbine. Next, what is boiler? A boiler is a device which converts the chemical energy into heat energy, right? At the inlet, in a boiler at the inlet, I am providing with water, then in the bottom I am supplying some heat. After some time, what will happen? This water will turn into vapor and my steam would be generated, right? Here we will be solving the equation, steady flow energy equation. As I have used the term of heat, there is, see, potential energy and kinetic energy, consider it as negligible. Next, here, can you see any work is being done? No, so work is not there. Yes, the heat is being transferred, so Q is there, right? So what my equation will be? See this Gz1 plus half V1 square goes. What remains is H1 plus Q equals to, there is nothing with Gz2 plus half V2 square, no, nor there is some work done. So what there will be? Just my enthalpy 2, right? So what my Q, that is heat transfer, would be H2 minus H1, right? Thus my change in enthalpy will give my heat change in heat. Okay. See, for turbine work is done, that is H1 minus H2. In boiler there is a heat transfer. There is nothing of to do with work. The formula is just vice versa. Okay. Condenser. Moving to condenser, what does a condenser do? It condenses the vapor which is coming from the turbine, okay, and we use this heat to make the water warm in the boiler. Okay, we are using this heat, we are extracting heat. This is a heat extracting device, you can see. My cold water is entering from one side, from the other side the steam, the vapor which I have impinged on my turbine, it comes from another side. So as this is hot and this is cold, cold water is entering. My cold water, due to the heat of vapor, becomes hot, and the vapor extracts heat from this cold water, right? And this gets condensate, right? So my condenser works as a heat extracting device. Here both the concept, let's see what we can derive here. Potential energy is negligible and kinetic energy is also negligible. Okay. Here there is nothing to do with Gz1, nor there is nothing of V1 square. So here only my term H1 plus Q will be equal to H2, right? H1 plus Q will be H2. So my Q will be, what will be my Q? H1 minus H2, right? Here, why I am considering H2 as negative? Because the enthalpy will be less. The enthalpy in vapor will be more and enthalpy in the condensate will be less. So it is H1 minus H2. Now moving to our last device, that is reciprocating compressor. What is reciprocating compressor? What does it do? See, it takes in the flowing substance, right? The valve opens, it goes, and when I apply work done, when I do some work, then when I push this rod upwards, what happens is the fluid inside this, the vapor inside it gets compressed, this gets locked, right? The pressure increases and thus the heat also increase, and it is rejected through the second port, right? This is considered, this is inlet port, this is outlet port. Okay, it takes in, I apply some work, and then this, the energy which is generated from this is the pressure would be more when you are extracting it from the outlet. Okay, so here consider potential energy and kinetic energy are again negligible. I had mentioned there are two terms about heat and work in this, so both act here. So what would be my, there will be enthalpy H1 plus Q plus is equals to H1 plus Q equals to H1 plus Q equals to H2 plus W. Okay, this is my equation. What I can write is Q minus W equals to H2 minus H1, right? This is my equation for the reciprocating compressor. Hope you are clear with all these applications, that is nozzle, turbine, boiler, condenser and reciprocating compressor. You need to remember these formulas. For nozzle, it is V1 equals to under root of V2 square plus 2 into H2 minus H1. For turbine, it is work done is equals to change in enthalpy, that is H1 minus H2. For boiler, my heat transfer that is Q equals to H2 minus H1. For condenser, it is the opposite of boiler. So my Q is heat transfer is H1 minus H2. Okay. And last, that is reciprocating compressor, Q minus W, that is heat transfer minus the work done equals to change in enthalpy, that is H2 minus H1. Okay, clear with this? Now we will, in the next lecture we will be seeing numericals on this part, that is applications of steady flow energy equation. Okay, thank you.